Hello, welcome everybody. Sammy here from Dos Caracolitos, and I'm excited to be here tonight with you. Tonight is the eve of the new moon in Virgo, and it's a beautiful time to be talking about the stars, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Hello, welcome. So good to see you here. Just saying how it is the eve of the new moon, which will happen early tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock Eastern time. And that means that the sun and the moon will be at the same point in the sky in Virgo. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and then we will do a tarot reading, which as always you're invited to contribute to and to ask for certain cards to be pulled for you over certain things. And then before that, now we will play with the sound bowl, and I also have a little new moon ceremony that I'm going to share with you and that you could do along with me to really tap into the energy of potential and excitement and calmness that's available for us tonight. So with no further ado, and for anyone listening who might be like, what is that Om thing about? For me, it's just a tone that is connected to the source of life and to oneness and unity of all, and it's tapping into the connection that all life shares, and it's a vibration that is about harmony and unity and health, joy, love, and truth. So chanting that is just a practice of getting in touch with that and bringing it into the physical body. So thank you for joining me in that, and now let's talk a little bit about the sky. So right now it's the same time when yesterday when we were on here, and Gemini is on the horizon once again. So we have Gemini rising to the east, and then directly across, if we were to go straight through the earth and come out the other side, that would be where the sun and the moon right now are very close together, and they're just hours away from being perfectly aligned. And so I'd like to share a little new moon ceremony with you to tap into the elements, and that'll tie into the reading as well. So what I'm going to share with you is something that I put together just really in like a minute or two around the house right before coming on here. So hopefully you can do the same with whatever you have around, because I'm all for magic that you could do at the drop of a hat. So here we have these tulips, these violet tulips that I had here in the house. Aren't they pretty? And Virgo is all about nature and earth. So here we have this to represent earth, and in honor of Virgo tonight we have that. I'll put that, let's see where you can see behind me. And then here I have a feather to represent air. And we have Gemini on the horizon right now. And Aquarius is at midheaven at the top of the sky. So channeling the values of air, communication, thoughtfulness, flexibility, and ideas, freedom. So we've got our feather, putting it next to our flowers, and to represent water, I have this beautiful seashell that my love and I found at the beach last week. Can you hear the ocean? And then, of course, we need to represent fire, so I'll light a candle here. There we go. A simple ceremony just to get in touch with all the different elements. Oh. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, great. So now let's do a little reading. And one thing that I wanted to share also, I was thinking about Virgo because the sun and the moon being together there right now, and I like to play with words as a Gemini, and so I thought, okay, let's make a little I forget the name of it, the kind of poem where you come up with one word for each letter in the word. So Virgo, what I thought of for Virgo, V is vigorous. All of the Virgos I know tend to have a lot of energy and work towards things really passionately and be really in touch with their bodies and have a lot of strength. So vigorousness is something that might be heightened for everybody right now. For the I, inspired, Virgos tend to come up with ideas and plans, and they don't need a whole lot to push them. They tend to be really self-motivated and tend to find inspiration everywhere. Are realistic. They're an earth sign, they're grounded, and they tend to be really in touch with reality. And they set goals and they're passionate about them, but they usually set the kind of goals that are manageable and that they often, in my experience, I know Virgos to really knock those things out and they achieve them. So they're realistic. G, generous. When I think of Virgos, I think of people who have a lot of compassion, and because of their because of how much they care and because of how hard they work, Virgos, I think, are very generous in the way they interact with other people, that they tend to see other people how hard they might be working too, because since Virgos work so hard and are so in touch with reality, welcome. They often bring that to they see that in other people too, and it makes them very generous friends and generous collaborators. And then O, I bet you could guess the O in Virgo could stand for organized, because they're methodical, they break things down into steps, and they feel a lot of comfort and safety and security in knowing how things are going to go and arranging them and making their environment and their space a place that supports them in being successful at those manageable goals that they are so passionate about. So that's our little Virgo poem. V, vigorous. I, inspired. R, realistic. G, generous. And O, organized. So I think those might be things that stand out as qualities tonight and tomorrow. And if you are setting goals or having a ceremony might be good to think about those values. So there you have that, and now let's pull a few cards. I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths with me. Breathing in and really feeling your lungs open up, and when you think you've breathed in as much as you can, maybe breathe in a little bit more, because that's what a Virgo would do. Hold it and then release. And when you think you've released everything, I invite you to release a little bit more. And then enjoy the feeling of emptiness and possibility, just like the new moon is like us when we've exhaled all the air and we're waiting for a fresh start. So let's do it. Inhale. It's kind of like the moon cycle or breath cycle. It's like a miniature moon cycle. Every time you breathe in and it's a full moon, every time you breathe out, a new moon and a new chance to be inspired. Okay, let's spread the cards. Spread the cards. Where's our elements here? Let's put all of our elements around. So we've got our fire, the vigor, the passion, the action, the seashell, water, sensitivity, nurturing, love. We've got our flowers, the earth, the groundedness, the sustenance, the pleasure. We have our feather, or air, and the mind, inspiration, intellect, in communication, and movement. So let's put our cards in between all of our elements tonight. And why don't we pick 4 cards? One for each corner, because that seems like a very Virgo thing as well. Okay. Danny, hi, it's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We are in the middle of pulling some cards here, but you might notice we've got some things around. We've got a candle, a seashell, a feather, and then some flowers to represent the 4 elements: fire, water, air, and earth. And we're doing this tonight because it's the eve of the new moon. Tomorrow morning at 7, the sun and the moon will be aligned in Virgo, and the moon will be completely new. So just making a little ceremony to really soak up the lovely energy of newness and possibility using our elements. So if you feel like doing that at home, I highly recommend it to everybody. Okay, let's see what our cards are. Card number 1. The King of Wands. And if you might have noticed, this was the card that was next to the candles. So we've got our King of the Suite of Fire, okay, and the King of Wands is sitting there. There's a salamander at the King's feet, and it's mastery of the element of fire. So this represents being able to be passionate, being able to be direct, vigorous, lively, expressive, bold, and to do so with poise and confidence. And this is somebody who isn't afraid of being fiery, and they know how to wield it. They know how to use their fire. So I think it's an invitation to let let your fiery self burn. And I love it. Let's put it next to the candle again. Next card. Ooh, okay, so we've got a queen here too. It's a fancy party we're at tonight. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We pulled this card 2 days ago, I think. This is the Queen of Virgo. This is Virgo in a nutshell right here. She is surrounded by lush nature. She's connected to the ground. There's a bunny rabbit, which represents fertility and new possibilities, new life, new projects, new people, new experiences, new ideas, vigorousness and excitement, energy, passion, fun, all of that. And also wealth and stability. So the Queen of Pentacles is very nurturing, and she's here with us right now. And it's also, oh well, let's see, what's our third card? Okay, the Page of Pentacles. I love it. So the page is standing in a lush green field. Could be right here next to the Queen, which she was in the reading. They look like they're in the same environment. They are both standing there with their feet on the ground, and the page is sort of like the student, where the Queen might have all of the experience and the power and the confidence. The page is humble, and the page is learning, and the page is just starting out. And I think it's kind of fun because since the sun and the moon are in Virgo, we sort of have like this Queen is kind of like the moon, and then the page is sort of like this sun. He looks like he could be someone's son, and they're together next to each other. So whatever's happening right here with me, with you guys, with the energy we're creating, I think we are very in line with nature right now, and that feels so good. Okay, let's look at the fourth card. You guys, this is a very special moment. I'm glad you're here because this is the Four of Wands, and what you see here is it's a wedding ceremony. The structure of these four wands with some plants hanging on top in Judaism is known as the chuppah. I'm sure it's called different things for different people, but it's this structure that people build for the ceremony, and it's supposed to be very bare and minimal and natural, something that is just put up and taken down. It's just a little bit of nature to surround the couple as they unite their lives. And so when you think of the sun and moon together tonight, and that's kind of union. And as for me, if you follow this page, you might have seen that today I posted about the engagement that just happened between myself and the woman I love, and we just put that post up today, so it's kind of magical to pull this card, which is about that. And then to bring it back to this reading, we have two cards that are pentacles, and then we have two cards that are wands. So there's a lot of earth and there's a lot of fire, and so on the positive side, we are in harmony with what's happening in nature right now, and I want to offer the beautiful energy of this moment to talk just for a second about how there might be a little too much fire on the earth in certain places right now, and that the Queen of Pentacles and the rabbit and the fertility that we were talking about is something that's been taken away from many women in detention centers in our country right now, and not just right now, but it's coming to light more and more what's happening, and more people are aware of these really tragic, cruel behaviors that some people are doing to other people. So I'm just wanting to talk about how that's happening, and that we have the election coming up, and that there's hopefully going to be changes from that, and then also there will be changes from other areas. But it's important, I think, for us to talk to each other, even if it's not always so clear what necessarily one individual person, such as myself, or maybe you, I don't know, but I know that sometimes I feel like, okay, how much power do I really have? What can I really do? But let's keep talking to each other about it, and hopefully very soon that will change. And I'm just here to say that it's not okay, and let's just plant a seed. I'm going to plant a seed in this new moon for that to end, and for a safer future for all people, and for the healing of the earth, and for the spirit of the King of Wands to guide me in expressing myself passionately and taking direct action. So with that, why don't we do a short meditation? I'm going to play the gong, and then let's take a minute or so of breathing together in silence, and perhaps meditating on something that you're grateful for, and something that you hope to nurture in this next moon cycle, as the moon goes from new to full 2 weeks later. So maybe what's something that you would love to see accomplished 2 weeks from now? So yeah, that's what I invite you to reflect on, and that's what I will reflect on. Let's go. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We just finished a meditation. If anyone wants to share anything in the comments that came up for you, or want to share what you're grateful for, or want to share what it is that you would like to have completed when the moon is full 2 weeks from tonight, I would love to hear that. And I'll share mine in case that's helpful. And I just want to share that I'm so grateful, that this card, which has been a dream of mine to experience for so many years, is now a reality in my life, now that I have a partner who I am madly in love with, and that we are united like this. And that we pulled this card when the sun and the moon are united tonight in Virgo, I think is very beautiful. So that's what I'm grateful for. And something that I want to have completed by the time the moon is full in 2 weeks is that I want to have my second poetry book published online. So thanks for listening to that, and thank you for joining me tonight in this reading, and I wish you a beautiful new moon. I hope that you feel that connection of the solar and lunar parts of yourself, that the unconscious and the dream world and the emotions and the mystery can come to light and can be illuminated in your waking life too. So have a beautiful evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay.